students reading their books while they're sitting out on the, whatever we call it, the mall? How many want your students to have access to things at 2 o'clock in the morning when you are asleep? And all that happy stuff? Yeah, we don't sleep. Okay, the university has invested in electronic books, textbooks, and recommended readings and all kinds of wonderful things. And we want to make sure you know about them and that you know how in the world you could actually embed a link to it in Blackboard so they don't have to go searching for it. And you don't have to go looking for it again either, which is a really good thing. So on our website, there are several different ways to get to our ebooks. If you go to academics and down to the library, and we're hiding there, and this is what our website looks like. And if you haven't seen our new computer space, this is what it looks like. And the other thing that we're going to have, we have moved many things around in the library. I have Gwen Carl, who has joined us as our collections librarian, and she's helped me greatly with moving our wonderful and exciting archives and making that space available. We're going to call it a maker space, but it's also a training space so that we can work with you. We're going to have a 3D printer in there and a sewing machine and a computer with all kinds of wonderful programs, and some laptops and some fun things so that you can come in and we can have a chance to work with you and your class, just you, a group of you, whatever you want. And you can come in and play with some educational technology and find out, okay, how exactly could we use this? But in the meantime, we're here at the catalog. And this is one way to get to our ebooks. Our ebooks are actually, we've taken the records and the links to them and put them in our catalog. So if you have a wonderful and exciting subject that you are thinking about, and you have a lesson coming up and you're thinking, okay, there's got to be something there, because we have purchased engineering, we have purchased education, we have purchased business, we have purchased arts and sciences, we have purchased a lot of engineering, and they're all in there. And you're going to get an email from me that has the complete Excel spreadsheet with all of our brand new ebooks and how to get into them and the instructions on how to do this. It will come to you through a thing called Constant Contacts, like you get your Latour News, all right? And it will be coming out next Monday. And so you'll have a list of the ebooks, but instead of having to read pages and pages and pages of things, a better way to do it is to type in your search terms. So I was working with a professor, Byron Lichtenberg. He's starting up the Masters of Engineering Management, and he said, okay, one of the things I'm going to be teaching is something called Lean Six Sigma. How many of you are into customer service? Oh, come on, we're all into customer service, okay? If we're not into customer service, we need to pack it up and go home. All right, so when you come here into our wonderful and exciting catalog, you'll see over here we have 32 things on Lean Six Sigma in our, physically in the library. Some of it may be electronic. In fact, all of this is electronic, and they're downloadable. And I'm going to go down a particular book that is right here that he was looking for. And if I go to downloadable, it asks me for my login. It asks for the login because we paid for this. It's not available to everybody who comes to our website. So when you are looking at this, this is the same login and username that you use for your email and Blackboard and everything else. Here you go. So some choices that I have when I get here, and I'm going to show you another way to get here as well. But some choices that you have when you get here, you'll notice this particular book is provided by a database called EBSCOhost. That's who we bought it front through. It has a detailed record. It has the ebook full text. If I happen to know that this is a textbook that my students are going to be using for the entire semester, download the whole book. It is unlimited times for download. So tell your students, download it on their laptop that they carry around. Download it on their tower that they have in their classroom. Download it on all of their mobile devices. One of the wonderful things about web development lately is that they have what's called a reactive interface. So it changes the way it looks, whether it's on an iPad, a phone, a Galaxy, a Surface Pro, your regular computer, anything else, it adapts itself to fix. And that's why our website looks so different now. It's because they're getting, all of our website pages are being updated. But here's the ebook full text. Maybe I don't want the whole thing. So I can go to the table of contents and it'll show me parts of it. All right, this particular book doesn't have a whole lot of chapters. Other books, like I know the education books, broken down into little itty bitty chunks. And so you can just make that chunk available. All right, if you're going to do that, you're going to click on this, but we're going to go up here because some other wonderful things I need to show you about this. There's something called a detailed record over here, and that's where you get the thing that you can share. You can either embed it in an email, or you can put it in your Blackboard course. So here we go, it's down here, another place to find it, it's called a permalink. Okay, a permanent link. If you are familiar with accession numbers, that's what this is. So you get here, and it's right here, it's this link, and you right-click it, oops, you get right on top of it eventually, and then you say, oh, I love technology. You really, 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 really do. Oh, get the whole thing, please. When you look at this, if it doesn't say somewhere in there research.db.edu, you know you don't have the right link, and give us a holler and we'll help you out. Okay, everybody with me so far? I typed in some search terms. I found a downloadable ebook. I clicked on the ebook. I decided whether or not I wanted the whole book or I wanted part of the book. I went to detailed records and I found the permalink. So far, so good? Yes, sir.
I just did Python programming, and they gave the ebooks, but then it just one says book, one available, and then it gives a shelf location. Is that in our library or somewhere else?
That is in our library. So on the left-hand side, click on the ebook offerings, because you're in a physical book. No?
There's no ebook at all.
Then we don't have an ebook on Python yet. I'll call them and find out.
That book is actually in the library.
That book is actually in the library. So if it's a physical book, when you go in through our catalog, if it says book and not ebook, it means it's a physical book that's in our library. Yes, ma'am.
When you were saying that you could go and just get a chunk, can you get more than one chunk, or would you have to keep going back in if I'm on chapters 1, 7, and 12?
You'd go in and get the permalink for each of those chapters. So you go back in and click on each chapter and then go over and get that permalink. And then I want to show you how, like I could just paste this into an email and send it to my students. If I did that, they would have to type in their Active Directory login and password, their username and password from their email, is how they usually think about it. And then it would give them access to it. And the second link in your email, that if you had multiple links, the second time it would already recognize them as logged in. So they'd only have to do that once, which is the good news. But to put this in Blackboard, which is the fun part, because you may just want to make this available for required reading. My course may look a little slightly different from your course, because this is an old course that's being updated and isn't ready yet. Most of you in your Blackboard courses have something called course documents, or if you want to start a new tab and have ebooks, you can do that if you're going to be using quite a few ebooks. You can create your own tabs over there, and I know that CDT would be more than happy to help you with that, or if you want to come over, I kind of know how to do it, which is a good thing. All right, so have the tab that you want it in. And up here you have build content, and one of your wonderful choices is called web link. This is one way to do it. There's several ways to do it, but if you just want to link to a book because you're going to use it as your textbook or you want them reading it, you come in here, you give it the name. For your name, my recommendation is actually the title of the book, and then if it's just a chapter, comma chapter 1, so that when they get to it, if it doesn't say chapter 1 on it, they know, oh, wait a minute, and they can email you and say, that one's not working for me, help. All right, so the title of the book was Lean Six Sigma. I come here. Hello. Description. This is a great resource you need for the exam. Help them out to know what it is. You can describe it how you wish. You can make it available if you don't want them seeing it at the beginning of the course and you want it available to them later. Most of you are already familiar with that, but if you know you don't want them reading it until week 3, put the date in and then say it's available to the end of the course. Submit. Come on. This is what it looks like on your side as the instructor. And I always recommend if you're doing something, especially if it's your first time in Blackboard, up here on the right, you have Go to Student View. Have you used that tab? If you push that, that's what the student actually sees, so that you can make sure that, okay, this is what they're going to see. I don't have all my tabs live. Come here. And the book opens, and then they can download it. Easy? Yeah. Yes?
And how long do they have access to it? Is it like a file that's available forever on their computer?
Yes. It is forever. They can use this for textbooks. There's a lot of textbooks in there. That's why we invested. It's going to save them money. If you happen to find a book that you would want to use for your textbook, it makes their life easier. You're saving them money, you're saving yourself money. You can print it for yourself if you wish to print the whole chapter or the whole book. Your choice what you do with the file. They just ask that you don't share the file because you have to have the Active Directory login, to get to it the first time. One of the really neat things is you can work with us at the Learning Resource Center because EBSCO and CR NetBase, which are the 2 major providers of our ebooks, keep statistics and say, okay, student X has downloaded this 4 times. This is cool. Or your book has been, especially if you've written the book and it makes it in here, you can look it up and say, oh, wow, look at this, 200 and something downloads in September. This is really cool. And then you can look back later and go, 1 download in December. Let's go find out who that was that didn't have the book all semester.
And there's no fee for the school for each download, right?
We have already paid for that. So on most of them, they are unlimited downloads forever and ever, and a couple of them you can, couple of the different databases, there can be only 10 people in at the same time. And so in the list that I'm going to email you, it'll let you know, okay, if your book is coming from this database, don't have your whole class go on at the same time. Have them take turns. They go in, they download, they close it, and then the next 10 people can go in.
So are they technically downloading it to their computer, now it's a file on their computer, or as long, and then when they leave, it's no longer on their computer?
It will stay on that computer until they decide to take it off their computer.
So I'm trying to figure out why a student might download 4 times or 10 times.
If they're downloading on their laptop and they're downloading on their computer at home and they are downloading. And the other really neat things about this is how many of you have had students that go home for Thanksgiving break and go, I left the book in my dorm room. If there's an e-format of it, guess what you can say? Here's the link. Please proceed and read. Now, yes, sir.
If they download it on one computer, I mean, can't they just transfer the file to their other computer, or is that?
They could.
I mean, that's the thing, they don't need to download 4
Yeah.
times. That's what I-
No, but it's interesting to see what they do.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because, you know, they all approach it different ways.
Right.
Okay. All right. Yes.
So I understand that you said no file sharing, but if we were to download it, would it be a copyright infringement to put it in Blackboard as a link to our downloaded file already? Do we have?
My gut reaction is yes, but let me look up and talk with somebody who knows even more than I do about it. Because you would be actually asking to look at your copy of it versus Laterno's copy of it. They still would have to log into Blackboard, which is why I hesitate. It would be better for you to have the link that goes to the actual document. And again, I'll get back to you on that, Jody, because the part of me is going, oh, wait a minute. I don't want to have people getting in trouble. The link should be available until that everyone has decided that that resource is no longer necessary for whatever reason. Yes, sir.
This book downloaded as a PDF file.
Yes.
Okay, and if you have this kind of link access, is it automatically updated by when new editions come?
Yes. As long as we are actually paying for the book as Laterno University, yes. So one of the neat things, like we have a computer science database, I saw Ken here, that gets updated every year, and then they weed out the outdated stuff. Other databases, like in your history classes and such, they leave it in there because they realize that there's a difference. Now, as I said, there's always different ways to get to find our resources, so that's through our catalog. If for some reason you don't find what you wanted through our catalog, another way to get to this, if you go to our research databases, this is the other place that you're going to be able to get into all of these resources. So I said that our two major providers of our ebooks right now are CRNetBase, and I have not made the link live yet, and I'm working with Mr. Rodell on our new website, so it'll be up soon, but you will get the link in the email that I send you with all the other wonderful things, so you can go directly there. But if you go to EBSCO for those, over here, you'll see there's actually a link. Now, it did not ask me to log in as myself because I've already logged in once on a database. I don't know if you realize that it does that for you, but that's a nice feature. Thank you, IT. So this has got browse by category, and a lot of times the picture, the book stream that comes up is very young people-ish. All right, it doesn't mean that we have access to those books. When you type in your search terms or you click on anything, it'll only take you to the books that we actually have access to, that we have paid for, because we have wonderful funding but not unlimited funding, right? Okay, so if I type in the same thing here, and this cover looks vaguely familiar, yes? There it is, another way to get to the same thing. And once I click on this, everything looks exactly the same as what I did through the catalog, which is nice, because that means you can get there. So finding ebooks, coming up with your search terms, you can type in, let's see if we go here. Darla, an education term, search term that A common theme for the day. Okay, we've got challenges of teaching with technology across the curriculum, what we really value beyond rubrics. Ooh, beyond, okay. Multimedia projects, cooperative learning in the Library Media Center. Library Media Center is the same thing as Learning Resource Center. We have a lot of different things because we purchased Education 2013 collection, Education 2014 collection, and some other fun things. The objective, what was the rest of this particular presentation was supposed to be you looking up something that's useful for you with the assumption that you were going to be on computers. Yes? Did you find something? What did you find, Lois?
Well, no, how would we, copyrights and so forth, I don't have a problem. But I just looked at calculus, and our current calculus book, which I know has an ebook, isn't there.
Your current calculus textbook?
Yes.
Okay, and it depends on who wrote it, and the Learning Resource Center has been tasked not to just have copies of our textbooks in it, but to have.
Physical copies. I was
No,
talking-
yeah, no, the same thing with E.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Okay, and then what if there's one on your shelf taking up space that was printed in 1938?
we are so desperately trying to weed. We have gotten rid of, I'm sorry, we are moving books.
Well, honey, this either needs to go into the old book collection or the dumpster.
We are moving books so that they cannot be found by any student, whether undergraduate or graduate or faculty member. We're moving them somewhere else to an off-site location, and we have already taken care of business medicine because that was of great need to remove outdated materials from medicine. We have the list for education. We have the list for psychology. Please remember that there are only 3.5 of us in there that can do this. So we're year by year. So this next school year, we will start off with aviation and engineering and kind of start with fiction and literature because there's a big difference between the two of them.
I'm sorry, did you already say arts and sciences?
No, not all of arts and sciences. We can't do it all at once. So we've split you up into history, English, biology, chemistry, other sciences.
Bless your heart, there's stuff taking up space.
Oh, yes. I will tell you that modern economics from 1947 is in the hands of someone else, and you won't be able. Now, there are some great resources that you may need for research purposes. You're looking at the history of stuff. We are working with the faculty to make sure we don't get rid of those seminal pieces of work, you know, that were the benchmark of your particular field. You know, we'll keep those, but we will get rid of the, you know, the compilations of fun stuff. All right, so that's the plan, and then we're replacing, and as we find funding, both with print and E, because we need to reach all of our students, and not just the ones who have wandered into the library to get coffee. They're not cheap. That's the unfortunate part. The publishers have figured out that this is the way of the future, and so they, like many other things, they have figured out the way that they're still going to have their profit margin. So they're not cheap. However, we are splitting up the different programs among the librarians, and we're going to be reaching out to you this school year to find out, to make sure you know what resources are available that are already there. Because like for English, we've got, you know, the Gale Lyon critical literature series there and physically in the library. You know, what student is going to want to open it up in an E format so they can copy their quote, put the quotation mark first before they paste, end it with a quotation, and come to the library to find out how to cite it properly to give credit to the person who had the idea. But we're trying to do all of that, you know, and we're coming up with a plan which we will then present to the whole university and say, so that everybody knows it's coming, be prepared, we're excited about it, please get excited about it yourself, And, no, we're not going to make you come and stand at the books and go. We're going to send you a list and say, okay, these are the ones we think should leave. Please go over everything that's highlighted and pull out the things that shouldn't really leave. Make sense? I'm hoping. Yes, sir.
What's the difference on search between an electronic resource and an ebook?
Sometimes it will lead you to an article in a journal, an electronic resource, or it might be a film on demand, because we have that as well.
If it's a book under electronic resource, we should be able to get access to the entire book?
Yes. It's a good thing. Yes, sir. You can do it anywhere you have internet access.
I have tried, actually with the films, I tried it from home and it wouldn't let me.
The films on demand, that was that thing they were talking about in the earlier one. Films on demand had a great challenge with their Active Directory login. It's supposed to work now. And I don't work for Films on Demand, so I can't claim that they have any more than I can claim that the people who provide our catalog services for us are working nicely with us. And active. If you have a student who can't get into their account in the library, please shoot me an email, because we're having a challenge with that, and it's not our IT people's fault. They put everything in correctly. It is the web-based providers' challenge, and we have withheld payment, but that does not seem to be helping. So, any questions, comments? Yes, sir.
I was looking for our textbooks, and there's some that are available. There are free ebooks out there. Is there a way to link it into this so the students can find it on the search?
Actually working with Google Scholar to make that available. It won't be through our catalog, but we're working on ways to make that available. So Google Scholar is, if you're not familiar with it, they're really, really nice. And so all those free things they have in there. And then we're going to be teaching the students to go to Google Scholar. If they don't find it here, go to Google Scholar, type it in and see if it's free. And then they'll be linked directly to what will happen in Google Scholar is they can type in the search term. They'll see everything where it's available, so they can ask for it through interlibrary loan and stuff if we don't have it. But it'll also be linked to our catalog, so anything we own will pop up in Google Scholar as, oh look, you already have access to it. Click away and have fun. Go forth and do great things and learn much. It's a good thing. Any other fun questions, comments? library@letu.edu. That would be us. Seeing a pattern here, cdt@letu.edu, library@letu, and we're not LRC because historically we've been called the library. But if you hear Learning Resource Center, that's us, because we're a lot more than just a bunch of books. Very nice. Very good. Well, thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any questions or anything else, you can either email me directly at lesliebowman@letu.edu, or you're always welcome to send it at library@letu.edu. And as you find great resources, feel free to share with us and let us know what they are, because we're not subject experts in every single program. So we're doing our best. Have a grand day.